What's going on, everybody? Zenon here from A Car Guy's Garage, coming at you on this Tuesday. It's 12:30 a.m. Dates a little mixed up there. Let's talk really quick about the Road 2000 orders. We're on the 12th now, and we're at about 15, I believe, last time I checked. So 12 days, add another 12, add another 15. We're probably going to be hitting around 40, 45 again. So hopefully with the next few days, things happening here and there, hopefully we'll be able to bump those numbers up. But spring is coming. It was very, very nice out over the past few days there. Now it turned crap again here, but I was out there working on the TC, trying to finalize a new item that I'm working on. It will be direct fitment, obviously, for the 2011 TCs. And I made some changes to what I was doing to try to see if I'll be able to make it for other vehicles as well. So not to give too much away, but it will be a direct fitment for the 2011 and up Scion TCs. But it may also turn around and lead to making some adjustments to it, obviously, but for other platforms and stuff like that. So look forward to that coming this weekend, hopefully. Might be sooner. Depends on how much I get done over the next 2 or 3 days with just the way my schedule is and all that stuff. So yeah, new item is coming, and we'll see how that goes. All right, so Road 2000 order, we've talked about that. New product coming, we've talked about that. And let's get to a couple questions. As always, I write them down on my list, my little sheet here. I've been talking a lot about the future and where I see myself, or what I see myself purchasing. And I've had a few people make some comments on the Facebooks and the Instagrams, but also send me direct messages with a concern as to the direction that the company may or may not be going. So I have other videos out talking about the machines, this specifically to CNC, and saying why I want to get it. But I'm going to make this video again because those videos, they get lost. And if you're not following and you're not watching, or they get embedded in there. So this will be specific to answering one of those questions. And then I have another one. So the first question is, wouldn't going CNC ruin what you're building right now? So this question was asked by a few people, and that's just my version of coming up with the question. So, will it ruin what I'm building now? No, absolutely not. It's not going to ruin what I'm building now. I guess in terms of what I'm building is the uniqueness of my items, right? Like, I have metal shift knobs that are pretty standard, but I'm able to turn around and add grooves to them. I'm able to turn around and add different tapers. I'm able to turn around and add knurling. I'm able to add within the middle of the shift knob, or on the bottom or the end, wider taper, not so narrow taper, stuff like that. And that there is my uniqueness. And I guess some people are worried that I will deter away from that. The resin shift knobs, the honeycomb shift knobs that are dropping soon, yeah, they're coming. Those things, that's not going to change. The reason for a CNC machine, whether it be a lathe or a mill, is for me to turn around and target and be able to captivate another audience. Because right now I can't captivate certain audiences because I just have spheres, or I have this shape, or I have that shape, and I can't make these really, really cool shapes that some other companies are making. And if people follow what other companies are doing and see what other companies are doing in comparison to me, yes, I make really, really cool products, but at the end of the day, I can't compete with these larger companies who are CNC machining everything, because I can't pump them out as quickly as a computer can, right? So I've said this before, my resin knobs, they could take anywhere from 2.5 to 3, sometimes 3.5 hours, depending on how much sanding or how much fiddling around they need. And like, I'm machining everything. So the inserts I machine, right? I have to machine the shift knob. I have to turn around and carve it. I have to turn around and thread it. I have to turn around and do all that stuff. Then I got to sand it. I got to buff it. I got to polish it. I got to do all that stuff, right? And the same goes for my metal shift knobs as well, is that I have to turn around, take a hunk of metal, carve it, thread it, bore it specifically for the vehicle. And then once you get to where it's now a shift knob, I have to turn around and then take it down to my powder coating booth, and I have to powder coat it. And then I have to turn around and take it to my laser engraver, and I have to laser engrave it. So these are all steps that make a shift knob take a long time for me to create. So just because it takes me, let's say, an hour to make a shift knob on the lathe, you know, like my mini Bertha or like a piston or something like that, you know, they can take about an hour, hour and a half, depending. And then I got to take it down to the powder coat booth, and that takes time. There's the prep time in cleaning it. There's the prep time in putting the powder in the guns and cleaning the booth afterwards and leaving it in the oven for the 30, 40, 50 minutes. And then taking it out and making sure that the powder is beautiful and it's a good finish. And then if I have to polish it again or do anything to it afterwards, and then packaging, all that stuff, it adds time, okay? And the time right now is that if a shift knob, let's just average it out. Let's say that it takes me 2 hours from start to finish of time to make, and I'm working 10 hours a day. That's only 5 shift knobs a day, right? And 5 shift knobs a day, that's great. I'd be very, very happy with that. That'd be 150 shift knobs a month, right? And that'd be perfect. That'd put me way over what I need to make. But to work that 10-hour day and to do that many shift knobs, again, I'm getting away from being able to do these one-off shift knobs as well, because those take more time and more effort and stuff. So a CNC would be perfect, because if someone just wants a plain old stainless steel sphere, or a plain old stainless steel piston, or plain old stainless steel Bertha, or a new one that I could turn around and make, I could create a few of those and have the machine working while I'm working on a hybrid or a custom e-brake button and stuff like that. So the machine is just it's going to help me grow. It's not going to take away from what I'm creating. It's actually going to improve what I'm creating, because I'll be able to put on a new piece of material on there, and I'll be able to carve something even more unique out that I wouldn't be able to do with a manual lathe. Or I would be able to do, but it would take a lot of time. And time equals money. And that's what I think everybody needs to understand, is that the longer that I stand at the lathe, the more money that it's costing, right? So at the end of the day, when you're buying a $100 shift knob, it's the labor involved. And like I said, the labor, it's the powder coating, it's me machining it, it's me cutting it, it's me threading it, it's me turning around and packaging it, all that stuff. So if I could get a lathe in there that can make a shift knob in 10 minutes, let's say, I've never done one, so I couldn't tell you on a CNC, but if it could do it in 10 minutes, and I could run a batch of them and then powder coat them all the same, I have them there, and then I could offer them on the website, and people don't have to wait, because there is a 10 to 14 day period, and maybe more people will turn around and buy if they didn't have to wait the 10 to 14 days, right? My competitions, some of them, I guess, they have stock. Others, people are not, they don't mind waiting. But for me, I need to find a way to please the whole middle of the business, right? Because right now I'm pleasing the one side. I wish I was pleasing this side. I want to be able to please the middle. So the compromise could be made for one end and to the other, and we can meet in the middle, and I could turn around and have that uniqueness if you want it. But if you want standard, basic, off the shelf, I have that. And when we put those two together, those two sides, man, we could turn around and start making something really, 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 building and making a really, really cool item, product, company. And yeah, and that's the reason for CNC machining. CNC is huge. There's obviously a lot of back-end stuff with the computer and such, and learning that, but I have a few friends who are into that. I have no problem bringing them down when I have one, showing them what I want, testing it, paying them, doing all that stuff. If I could bring you guys, you all, a cooler product or a new product that I can't do right now, I don't see why not. And that's why I want to go CNC for certain things. Obviously, yes, still predominantly I am custom. I'm not going to get away from that. But I'll be able to turn around and add even more. And that's going to turn around and make you guys want these new products because they're going to be outstanding, I think. But that's the future if I can stay open. Now, to get into the next question, it's going to stay in terms of this customness. So the next question is, can you make my shift knob sit further down on my shifter? This question was asked by a lot of people. I've had a fair amount of auto shift knobs go off, and I know right now everybody's saying autos, they shouldn't have shift knobs. You know what? Everybody deserves one. I will make anything for anyone. I just had someone ask me if I can make one for a 72 Beetle. If you're watching and I said it wrong, sorry, but I believe it's 72 Beetle. I think that that's, you know, the coolest thing ever. I love to make one for that. I do make a lot of shift knobs for autos, a lot of shift knobs obviously for manuals, the CVTs. So yeah, when it comes to something like this, so I'm just going to turn around and use, because this is what I have on hand. So we're going to pretend that, and I've done this in another video, but I'm going to talk about it here. So right now, if this is your shifter and this is the bottom, right? This is the bottom of your shifter. So like the console's like that. Right now, this turns around and sits this far. So you have this much exposed, right? So this is threaded for a Subaru. This is a 5-speed Subaru. Now, someone turns around and goes, well, Zenon, I don't want to see a lot of that, so what can you do? Well, I could turn around and pretty much go 3 inches. So I don't know how much this is, but let's just go with 3 inches. So yeah, I could turn around and I could get it so that it goes as far down as 3 inches could go. So I think my taps are about 2.5 to 2.75. Some I might be able to squeeze out a little bit more, right? So if this is 3 inches, that would be 2.75. So you're seeing less of that rod, less of that eyesore. That's what I call it. Like, you know, if the threads are right here and it threads on just like this, and you have that big ugly rod showing, like that's a problem, and especially if you're ordering like a taller shift knob. So my bike grips, my racer, my 4-inch piston, my drifter knob, my 4-inch piston, even my shorter one, like at 3 inches, even still, like if the knob is 3 inches tall, you could turn around and cover most of that shifter rod, right? So that's another area that I don't think people really understand that I could turn around and do, is that these aren't off the shelf. These are made specifically to how you guys want it. So if you have like a Scion TC that's auto, and the threads are 1 inch, right? And you want it to sit down another 2 inches, well, I could turn around and compromise 2.75 inches, so it'll go down and it'll meet, you know, pretty much where you want it to be. So it's not sitting like this, it's sitting more like this. And that's just, in terms of the autos, for anything out there, that's my ability. And that's not going to disappear when I have a CNC. I'm not just going to turn around and make an auto shift knob that is only threaded 1 inch and it fits a bunch of vehicles, but doesn't turn around and cover as much as that shifter rod as you want. Or even manual vehicles. Like I think I did a Tacoma. I did a red bike grip for a Tacoma, and I even said to the customer, how far do you want it down? And they were like, we want it 2.5 inches down, threaded into the shifter. So no problem. I bore it out, and then I could turn around and thread it, and now it's going to sit down that 2.5 inches and cover up more of that shifter rod. So yeah, that's not going to disappear. To go back to the first one about, am I going to turn around and ruin what I'm creating now? Absolutely not. I'm going to be able to turn around and bring more to the people. And like I said, just starting with that auto shift knob, even if you have a manual and it has this ugly shifter rod, and you want to order a tall rod and you want it threaded as far down, I could turn around and do that. And I'm going to look into getting taller, longer taps so that I could turn around and do 3.5, even 4 inches, and then give you guys even more. So I hope that clears up both questions. All right, so don't worry about the CNC. It's not coming anytime soon. Road to 1,000 orders is huge right now. I'm not meeting my goal there, but I'm optimistic. But I won't be getting a CNC if I can't meet that 1,000 orders. So keep that in mind. But I'm not going to change who I am for anybody. And this business won't change for it. I'm only going to improve on what I'm building now. So don't worry about that. All right, guys. So I thank you very much for listening to this, for following, for subscribing, and all that good stuff. And until next time, happy modding, and we'll see you later.